Alright, I'm Tanner Rose, and I'm going to be talking to you about the history of Man United. Well, I've been a fan of Man United all my life. Have you guys ever heard of like David Beckham, Cristiano Ronaldo, Wayne Rooney, all of them? Well, they got their big break at Man United, and their careers have just skyrocketed from there. The way they started was a group of co-workers at Newton Health. They decided they wanted to start a soccer club, and their field was in a railroad yard behind Newton Health. They started playing in like football league in 1888, but they didn't think they were very good, so they started playing in like the actual football league in England in 1892. John Henry Davies, he is probably one of the most influential parts and person that can take credit for most of Man United. He invested in Man United, gave them a lot of money and stuff in exchange to help run the club a little bit. He came up with Manchester Central, Manchester Celtic, but those were rejected, and Man United was born in April/May of 1902. Ernest Magnol was their first manager, and those are all the logos from that time period. And, I'm going to talk to you about a disaster in Man United history that is like a disaster. In 1958, on February 5th, it was considered the darkest day in United history. 23 total people suffered fatal injuries from a plane crash over Munich, Germany. 8 of them were players, and 3 of them were club members, club staff members. And they tried a total of 3 times to take off, but the first 2 were stopped and aborted because it was the weather was really bad. They stopped in Germany to refuel, and they were aborted. The third try, they got the plane to go, but it crashed shortly after taking off. Sir Matt Busby was their manager at the time, and he overcame his injuries. He was in the plane, and despite most of his starting players being deceased, he made a great comeback. Man United, he created a team that in 10 years came back and won their first European Cup, becoming a powerhouse. They were like pretty dang good. In 1907 was their first ever league title. 1908, they won their first Charity Shield, which is like the English all-league tournament. They won their first FA Cup in 1909. They were league champs in 1911, and they won their second Charity Cup in 1912. They had 20 English league titles total, 12 FA Cup titles, 4 Football League Cup titles, 3 UEFA Champions League titles, 1 Super Cup title, and probably the one that is like the most honorable is they have the record in total charity / community shields with 21. 17 of them are won, but 4 of them were shared due to ties. It's really complicated through that. Sir Alex Ferguson was probably one of the most influential people in Man United history. He started off playing as a forward in Scottish clubs like Dunfermline Athletic and the Rangers in Scotland. He was appointed manager of the Reds in November of 1986, I believe, and over 26 years managing, he brought 38 trophies and 13 Premier Leagues titles, 5 FA Cups, and 2 Champions League titles. He retired from managing it after the 2012-2013 season ended, and it was a weird transition with the club. Legends. A lot of you might have heard of Ryan Giggs. He's probably one of the most loyal players to ever play soccer. He had almost 1,000 appearances and almost 170 goals. Gary Neville is probably one of the greatest defenders that has ever lived.